the more specific you get, the faster the energy moves. So if you're feeling pretty good, being more specific helps you. But if you're not feeling good, being more specific hurts you. You want love. So when you think about focusing on someone and loving them, you want that love. When you focus on losing them, or you focus on them not staying,
right,
or you focus on them being distracted or not loving you back, now you're focused in a way that the source within you is never focused. And we can see how it could be confusing, but we promise you, once you get a handle on your emotions, you'll never be confused again. You won't be confused about what you're doing, and you won't be confused about what anybody else is doing. When you see somebody freaking out, you just know they're not in alignment with who they are, and they might even be justified in not being in alignment. The relationship itself must be allowed to be alive. It must be allowed to expand. And so what you're looking for are not promises, because no one can keep any of them anyway. So you're not looking for promises. What you're looking for is enough compatibility that you have a pretty good chance of getting pretty good momentum going, where you will not lose yourself in the relationship. What you're reaching for is the freedom to continue to decide. Yes. I want the freedom to continue to decide. And in some ways, a relationship in and of itself, as from your perspective of it, sort of belies that, because it sort of says, I'm going to get so hooked on you that then I won't have the freedom to not be hooked on you if I should choose to be. It's a freedom thing. It's a control thing.
Yes.
That you're feeling.
Yes.
And you can get around that or get to the heart of it by understanding that the only thing that anybody can control is their own relationship with who they are. That's what you're reaching for all the time. If we were entering into a relationship, standing in your physical shoes, it is our promise to you that our relationship vows or determination would go exactly like this. So far, I like you pretty good. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes. I'm going to do my best to stay in alignment with who I am, which means this relationship has a really powerful probability of not only surviving but thriving, because I'm going to do everything that I can do to be in alignment, which means I'm going to look for the best in you and in everybody. And I'm not going to talk hardly ever about things unwanted. And I'm going to keep myself so tuned in that I have source energy flowing through me, so that my capacity to love is going to be more than almost anybody you know, because it's going to be steady and consistent. And my capacity to love you is not going to be contingent upon anything that you do. I'm leaving you out of that part of the equation. I'm taking full responsibility for how I feel. And I'm going to practice it for a while. I've been practicing it for a while, and I'd like to practice it for a while with you, but I can't make any guarantees, because I want to be in alignment. I just want to be in alignment. I want to know that I can be in alignment without holding someone else hostage to standing on their head in lots of different ways in order to keep me in alignment. So what I'm saying to you, potential lover of my life, is that there are no deal breakers. There are no deal breakers. There is nothing that you could ask of me that would break this deal, because my relationship with you is not about that. My relationship with you is about my relationship with Source. And you're really pretty. You're really pretty. You're really smart. You're tuned in, tapped in, turned on. In other words, have fun with this. You don't have to make long-term promises, but in the meantime, collect some data. And in other words, you're wanting to collect some data. What you want to say to people who are coming to you is, I'm trying to find myself, and maybe we could hang around together while I find myself. And finding myself means I want to see how much time I can spend with you, with all of the variety that you might introduce into the relationship with me, while I stay in alignment with source energy. That's what I'm doing right now. And it is our promise to you that you'll not only find that alignment, but you'll find someone else who has exactly the same plan. Can you imagine two people coming together who are neither one holding each other hostage for the way the other one feels, tuning into source energy and living happily ever after, or not, but living happily ever after, or not holding anybody responsible for how they feel but themselves? How refreshing is that, you see? And that's really what you came to us to say. It is. Sometimes, and this is what's happening here, by insisting on what you want before another is ready, and you try to pull them into the vortex, you're not pulling him into his vortex, you're pulling him out of his vortex. Now, you really can't pull him in or out. So that's why you have to leave him out of the equation. You have to want what you want and believe what you want and allow what you want, and what you want will come, and most likely through him. But when you try to make it be this way right here, right now, before somebody else is ready, the backlash happens. Here's why. Imagine, since everything is vibrational, and the easiest way for you to understand vibrations in your world is to think about sound or electricity. That's a really good way. So think about electricity and think about an open circuit, and think about you being tuned in, tapped in, turned on. You've got all of this energy flowing through you, and you are flowing it toward this desire. Let's say in this case, toward this specific person, this desire about this person, and you're flowing it. But let's say that for whatever reason, that person isn't in complete agreement with what you're doing. Now, the tendency would be to say, okay, then that person has closed their circuit because he wants something different. So his circuit is closed while mine is open, and so I'm getting electrocuted. But what's really happening, since his circuit doesn't have anything to do with your electrocution ever, only your own circuit. So you're flowing, but then his behavior or his condition causes you to think thoughts that close your own circuit. So it's not what he's doing, it's what you're thinking about what he's doing that causes you to close your circuit, and that's what is electrocuting you. And then because you don't feel good, then it feels like it's wrong, and it's not wrong because of the behavior, and it's not wrong because of the person, and it's not wrong because of the decisions of the person. It only feels like it's wrong because you're closing your own circuit with a belief that doesn't match your desire. And when you sat in that chair, you didn't do that. You started to close your circuit, you started to do that, but then you came to your senses and you didn't do it. You decided to leave your circuit open anyway. And this is exactly the same thing. I've decided to be happy even though what I want isn't fully manifested. And in my happiness, I allow it to evolve, and I allow myself to witness the unfolding of it because it is so delicious. It's now. There's not ever going to be a then. The future that you're looking for is never going to get here. It's never going to get here, because when it gets here, it's going to be another now. And so if you practice in your now having an open circuit, then open, feeling good. But if you put some sort of ruling on the way that it needs to open, then you close your circuit in the now. If you could just hear us when we say, he's not the one closing the circuit, you are, relative to anything. And when you stop doing that, oh, then now is really delicious. And then now is really delicious. And then now is really delicious. And then now is really delicious. It also will take away your concern over ageism, because you all have equal access to now. Right now, where you converge with source energy, it's all right now. And it doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are, doesn't matter how rich you are or how poor you are, you all have equal access to this energy right here and now. So the successful happiness that you're all reaching for is all about what you decide to do with your own circuits. And we're talking about the circuit of desire and the circuit of belief. Because the desire is flowing, and if the belief is in opposition, then the feeling is that negative emotion. Ooh, you came a long way on that understanding, didn't you? Don't you love knowing that? Don't you feel sort of invincible? Doesn't it feel to you like you could do just about anything that you can convince yourself you can do? Doesn't it feel like you'd just like to maybe shore up some of your own beliefs by looking for evidence of these laws? Because there's not a shred of evidence to the contrary of them. Your life is rich with them. You see, more blue glass moments everywhere. You get to want what you want. You get in alignment, he comes, you want him to stay, you want him to commit, you want him to do whatever it is. And so you get to want what you want, but you can't contradict what you want by the condition making you not believe it. If you can continue to want what you want and not let the condition convince you that what you want isn't happening right now, then the thing that isn't happening can begin to happen. That was a really big statement. Did you hear it? You get to want what you want, but when the situation that's happening keeps you from believing what you want, then that's what goes wrong with it. We're just going to talk for a little bit because we have very little time before segment, and so let's recap some of the power that we just discovered together. So you create your own reality, yes? And you're a vibrational being, and you're emanating a signal at all times. And the signal that you are emanating, meaning the thoughts that you are thinking, or the words that you are speaking, or the action that you are taking, whatever it is that you are focused upon, whatever it is you are talking about, whatever it is you are doing, is causing you to offer a vibration that law of attraction is matching. So you're getting back what you're giving out all the time. To be consciously aware of what it is you're giving out is such a helpful thing, but not in relationship to what somebody else wants you to give out, in relationship to what is in your vortex. Because through life, you have figured out at so many levels of your being precisely what you want, and it is rich and it is understood by your inner being, tended to. The cooperative components have been gathered, and it is your reality to which you are having a relationship. Everything that you feel is you having a relationship with what you have created, with who you really are, with what you really want. And every emotion that you feel is not about what somebody else is doing. It's not about anybody else's power, because they don't have power in your experience. Everything that you feel, whether it feels wonderful or whether it feels awful, is only about one thing, and that is your vibrational relationship with you that you have created. When you decide that nothing matters to you more than that you feel good, which means nothing matters more to me than that I'm finding a thought now that it has harmonics to what my inner being is thinking about the same subject. If happiness becomes your dominant quest, then what happens is you find yourself more often in perfect alignment with who you are, with an open circuit. And then as thoughts turn to things, you just get more and more and more ideas. We want you to feel the reality of your vibrational reality. This vortex is a real thing. And we want you to understand how far it has come, how big it is, and how important it is to you. And we want you to know that since it is big, and since it is real, and since it is offering a vibration, it's offering a vibrational signal that is calling you, that if you are caring about how you feel, you're being called to the wholeness of who you are. And when you are in that receptive mode, and that vibration turns to a thought in your mind that feels like a desire that you can speak out loud. I want this, that decisive, I know what I want. I want a relationship, and I want it soon. I want a relationship. I want more money. I want to live in that house. I want to go on this vacation. I want this conversation with this person. In other words, once you say, I want it, and you mean it like that, what's happened is you have experienced this process that we're talking about, and the thoughts of your vortex are beginning to turn to the things of your life. And if you will accept that as those ideas come, they are evidence, they are proof of the inevitable positive outcome that you are looking for, then you can start relaxing and enjoying the unfolding of it. But if you're still looking for the condition to guide it or to soothe you, then as soon as you look for something that hasn't come into full fruition yet, then you shut it all down and you stop the momentum, and it's kind of like starting over at square one again. Did you get that? This is a really good time for a segment of refreshment.